I had a midlife crisis at 29. I know some of you might think, how could anyone have a midlife crisis at 29? The decade of my 20s was coming to an end. Those were some of the most meaningful and memorable years of my life. I thought that I had missed something, or that I would be missing out on something in the future. I decided to reach out to a therapist to help me to identify some of the roots of my struggle. He listened and encouraged me not to get lost in an abyss of questioning my self-worth. He encouraged me to reconsider and rediscover the value of caring for other people. He encouraged me to think about 3 groups of people. The first group of people he described as those who would say, I would love to care for someone. It sounds like a great idea. And yet they didn't commit or follow through with the task of caring for others. The second group of people were those who would say, I don't know how anyone could go out of their way to care for others. I don't know that I could do that. And that group of individuals did not follow through with the task of caring for others. The third group of individuals were those who were courageous and would say, I will choose to care. I remember this conversation and this encounter left a lasting mark on me because it reminded me of who I was, the man that I aspired to be, and how I wanted to mobilize and encourage others to care for those around them. I think about the Sisters of St. Joseph Carondelet. Recently, the sisters have celebrated 375 years of service to the dear neighbor. Let's give them a round of applause. What a memorable and even a worthy mission statement that has compelled me to embody what it means to care for the dear neighbor without distinction. And I hope that you resonate with this mission statement and that you would seek to care for the dear neighbor without distinction. A little background about me. At the age of 19, I flunked out of college with a 1.5 GPA. I bore the consequences of failure, and I tried to get back on track. But it seemed fruitless at the time. Something happened really remarkable. I turned to faith and decided to become a Christian. And I didn't think that I needed to go to college anymore because the trajectory of my life had changed and I was going in what seemed a different direction. At the same time, I quietly struggled with whether or not I had what it took to achieve a college degree. My life was pretty good. The seasons of my life changed. The years came and went, and I enjoyed my life. Then the pandemic happened, and I ran into a few challenges. I decided to reflectively think about ways that I could reclaim the ground of my educational success. I took action, and I enrolled in a community college here in Kansas City. I found so much support in the college setting and started to regain and reclaim the ground of my success. I was inducted into the National Honor Society. I became a writing tutor where I helped others to grow in their writing expression and learn how to write academic papers. Such a rewarding thing to do, especially considering what I had experienced in the past. After the course of 4 years, I only had 1 year of college credit. One day, college fair came to Avila University. From Avila University came to the campus that I was attending, and Avila University caught my eye. I met with the admissions counselor who encouraged me to look into the history of the school, to apply for admissions into Avila University, and to apply for the Missouri Access Scholarship Award. I remember only having 24 hours before the priority deadline ended. So quickly, I left my meeting with the admissions counselor, and I did everything that he encouraged me to do. There seemed to be a renewed sense of hope and life over my pursuit of higher education. It was kind of a wind that came over me. And over the next few weeks, everything seemed to fall into place. And I was accepted into Avila University and became an Avila Eagle. Yes, in addition, I was given access to the Missouri Scholarship Award, the Access Award, and I was so encouraged. Entering Avila University was like entering a fortified city alongside other people who were reaching for more. And I was so thankful that someone had took a chance on a little over 3,000 students who would actually enter into a process of experiencing personal, academic, and professional transformation. It was like being given the keys to a new home of sorts. My first semester at Avila University was August of 2025. The school was experiencing the most enrollment and also the most student engagement, student life engagement here on campus. And I was so energized and inspired. I was learning a lot about the Sisters of St. Joseph Carondelet and their values. And I thought about a way that I could serve the community at large here at Avila University. So I started an initiative called Encouraging Notes for Avila. I invited students, staff, and faculty to consider writing an encouraging note to someone that would speak into matters of the heart, that would be language of the heart, that would encourage someone along life's journey. Today, you will be entrusted with 6 core values that Avila University stands by, and their most important, their mission statement. This will show you how I was inspired and encouraged to start this initiative of encouraging notes on campus. But most importantly, I hope that these values and mission statement of the university will encourage you to care for and encourage others in your midst. Let's begin. The first core treasured value at Avila University that inspired encouraging notes for Avila and will hopefully encourage you to care for the dear neighbor was 1, upholding the worth, dignity, and potential of every single person. I remember setting up a table in Marion Center and inviting everyone to come and to write these encouraging notes. And what we found was that everyone was so enthused and followed the prompt and was able to speak into the lives of others. I remember reading these notes, and it proved to be so fruitful because what these messages, these notes that people were writing, really spoke into the fact that people are valuable. We're not just talking to people so that they can feel good about their lives. We're saying, I see you. And it's even an on-ramp to building relationships with other people. I thought, wow, notes like, you matter, you're enough, I'm glad you're here. These are all things that I think are so important. And may we always hold that treasured value of upholding the worth, value, and dignity of every person. The second core and treasured value of Avila University that helped to inspire encouraging notes for Avila, and hopefully will encourage you to care for the dear neighbor, was this dedication to the service of the dear neighbor. I thought about the Sisters of St. Joseph Carondelet, who embraced the mission of leaving their ivory towers and their habits and going to meet people and meet them in their need. How inspiring. I wanted to do the same. And so when I thought about encouraging notes for Avila, I thought, what a worthy cause. Something that we could actually do to spur one another on, to say, you got this. You can actually stay the course and go the distance. In the Avila Library, there is a legacy wall dedicated to the Sisters of St. Joseph Carondelet. At the very top of the wall, it says, the legacy begins. And along the wall, it says, we are better together. And I believe that to be true. I think we all do well to find ourselves on the wall, figuratively speaking, the wall within that legacy wall that extends beyond ourselves. I think about the third treasured core value of Avila University, which is the dedication to teaching and learning. When I thought about offering this initiative, it was born in the classroom. When I was in my American government class, my professor, Mary Jane McQueenie, was so encouraging. She encouraged our class that it took one person to affect change and to call people to do the same. She encouraged us to not only know the United States Constitution, she encouraged us to have our own kind of personal constitution that would serve ourselves and others around us. In addition, I found support with the overseer of the social work department, Dr. Debbie Olson Morrison, who saw this initiative as one that would help others to advocate for themselves and to advocate for others. She even invited me into one of her practicum classes where I was able to invite students to write encouraging notes to one another. And what was so powerful was that students were not only writing individualized notes, they were collaborating with one another and saying, I'm writing to someone here on campus, I'm writing to this particular department on campus, will you two write something that's encouraging? And to see that collaboration in the classroom inspire others to do well was so encouraging to watch. Something that was also born out of that activity was that Dr. Debbie shared with me that the next time her class met, she asked all of her students to take a blank card and to write a note to themselves, so that whenever they needed to, they could pull out that note and read an encouraging note that the person wrote to themselves. I thought, wow, how powerful, so amazing. The fourth treasured core value that inspired encouraging notes for Avila and will hopefully encourage you to serve your dear neighbor is the dedication to the development of the whole person. The beautiful thing about development is that we don't have to do that by ourselves. We can actually join a community of people and thrive in the things that we enjoy and love, and at the same time learn more about the things that maybe we don't know about. And I think about the word integration and being able to have a holistic approach to life where we're able to grow. I know that as I look back on my life, the most powerful times of my life was learning from my failures and developing and growing and thriving because I knew what failure was like. And thankfully, I don't have to be defined by troubles and failures in my life. I can be defined by the encouragement and the care that not only I receive, but I can join others in offering to the world around us. The fifth core and treasured value of Avila University is the commitment to diversity and its expression. I think of the Sisters of St. Joseph Carondelet, who actually are known as the Sisters of Selma, who came alongside those who were being oppressed and joined in and made lasting connections and a lasting impact that actually brought about change. I think about Avila University and the over 40 registered student organizations that help students to thrive in and outside the classroom because they have community. One of the most powerful expressions of diversity that I've seen on this campus that has encouraged me to not only do initiatives, but to appreciate the value of this institution is the dining hall. People come from everywhere. Different nations, near and far, even in the United States, to South Kansas City, to attend Avila University. So amazing. So I think it's important to find that place where you can thrive. I know that I was able to find solidarity with the Society of Latinos here on campus and just get to know other Latinos here on campus. It's amazing. And also know that there are other places where people can actually find community and find encouragement. The sixth and final core treasured value of Avila University is this commitment to have right relationship with God, self, and others. On the morning of the encouragement table, when I was inviting everyone to come and write encouraging notes to one another, a staff member approached me and stated that there was a young woman who was being cyberbullied here on campus. There was an anonymous app that students were engaging in, and she was being cyberbullied. She reported this to the administration, and the administration here, the leadership team here, advocated for her and denounced any kind of bullying here on this campus. Can we give a hand clap for that? Absolutely. No tolerance for bullying. It was so encouraged that this young lady was able to find encouragement here on campus. Now, this young lady did not know that I too was bullied when I was in high school. And sometimes it seemed like it would be better to be dead than alive. And maybe some of you can resonate with that. I shared with her how I had a dear neighbor who came alongside me and encouraged me and offered me love and compassion. She invited me to the youth group where I found support and I found people who loved me right where I was and entered into the places where I suffered. And I believe that it helped to save my life. It was so amazing to share this with her because I learned that she too was a Christian and she found encouragement here at Avila. She attends Eagles for Christ. And she was able to be surrounded by a community of people who love her and who want to know her and do life with her. It was so encouraging to know that. Now, why do I share all of this with you? Well, I'm reminded of a famous quote by Saint Teresa of Avila, one that I hide inside of my heart and I think upon regularly. She said, "The most important thing is to not think much, but to love much and to do that which stirs you to love." And I'm so compelled by that as we think about ways that we can encourage one another and spur one another on in this journey called life. And some of you might be asking, wow, that's a lot, Daniel. Like, why did you share that with me? Because I've learned along life's journey that we are not alone. And we do best, we are at our best when we care for one another. Now, the mission is the plan. Here at Avila University, our mission is to cultivate those who will be able to offer something of value to the global community. I think about that legacy wall again. A community of people who will be rooted in their values and choose to care for the world at large. To actually find that place within that legacy wall that extends beyond the inside and actually beyond these fortified walls and imparts something of value to the world around us. Now, if you had an opportunity to write an encouraging note to someone, if you had an opportunity to step into someone's life, do life with them, encourage them, care for them, what would you say? In front of you is an actual note you'll see that is on the seat back in front of you. And you are going to be invited today to the table of encouragement, where you can write a meaningful note to someone that will bring encouragement and care for the dear neighbor. We have so many people here on campus that would benefit from your perspective and your encouragement, your care, and your love. Let's build a legacy together and remember, what will our legacy be? Thank you.